Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dual Screens Gamescast. This is episode 11. It is 316 episode. Austin 316 says we just kicked your ass. I am one of your hosts, Stephen Fontana, and with me, as always, it's Andy Asimakis. Cheers, Andy.
How much can happen in 1 week, Steven? Apparently a
Oh
fuck ton.
boy.
So many things can happen in 1 week, and I think looking at this doc, you may have missed a few things.
Oh, I'm positive I missed a
Just
few things, and
so many
you
things happened.
And you know what? Right here live on twitch.tv/dual screen streams, the chat will drop any hot news that we don't get to talk
Mm,
about. That we'll give them a chance to tell us some of the
mm,
shit that we missed. They could drop a
mm.
link right there in the thingy as long as they're subscribers. I think everyone could drop a link, but if not, then one of our subscribers will have to drop it in there. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the Dual Screens Gamescast. This is a show where Andy and I, and sometimes a third wheel, go over the top news stories from the big three companies and a wild card and determine the biggest losers and winners of the week. But also, we go over the other tidbits of news for your enjoyment. You know, little smaller things. We give you a little bit of the opinions that don't matter, which is ours. The Dual
Yes,
Screens
very
Gamescast
correct.
posts each and every Monday for your listening pleasure on your podcast service of choice, including Podbean, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course, you can find all of our videos and all of our podcasts on YouTube by going to youtube.com/dualscreens.tv. That's youtube.com/dualscreens.tv. We are finally over 100 subs. Thank you so much. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up, give us a sub, send it to your friends, say hello to your mother for me. Consider leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts if that's your podcast service of choice. Leave us a little review view. Can't go wrong. On
Keep
this
review
show,
you.
a review view. This show, we're going to talk about E3 being canceled. HBO is making a TV show based on a popular PlayStation game. Xbox has E3 plans regardless of what E3 is doing, and Nintendo is making a new toy, but this one's pretty cool, and it's not made of cardboard.
Exactly. That's the best part. It's not gonna melt in the fucking rain if your dog
No,
pisses on
no.
it.
But before we get into the show, let's tell you about our two other shows right here on Dual Screens Podcasts. First is the Dual Screens Podcast. That's an interview show where Andy and I bring on an industry guest and we talk about their game, their project, their career. Every single person in the video game industry has a story to tell, and we want to be the place for them to tell those stories. And this week's show, we had Joe Winter, who's making a game called Song of Iron. It's a game that he posted just a GIF of on the indie game section of or indie or
No,
dev
Reddit
game dev
gaming. And Reddit gaming.
Reddit gaming. Okay, that's what it was.
Proper Reddit gaming. Or
Proper
gaming.
Reddit gaming, and it had over 130,000
It fucking
reactions
exploded.
in less than a week. So we had him on the show. That was great. That went up on Thursday, and then on Friday we had Andy Explains It All, the second to last episode, and that was all about Wes Craven. So again, you don't have to subscribe anywhere else if you're listening to this on your podcast service of choice. All of our shows are on one service, so it's a great place to hang out. And if you,
Side note, I got a lot of great feedback on that Wes Craven episode from a whopping one person.
ooh, but
Everyone,
it was a lot of feedback from one person.
yes, it was.
Okay, well that's good.
It was one feedback, one small
One
remark.
small. So
But hey, it makes a difference in
this
the
whole
long run.
thing is changing as you're speaking.
Yeah,
If you want to support us with your hard-earned cash, you can do so by going to patreon.com/NDS podcast, just like our Patreon producer, Colton, the apprentice Nestler. Cheers to you, Colton. We cannot continue to grow without your support. Remember, $1 gets you into our VIP Discord channel, gets you a bonus episode every month, and it lets you vote the topic that we discuss. $3 will get you the pre and post show. Is that one of them? $3 or $5 gets you the post show, and then one of the other gets you the early access to the Dual
we
Screens
should really
podcast.
know what we're
I forget
giving
which
people
one's
too much
which, but it's
charging for.
okay. Either way, it's fun. All right, so now it's time to get into the adventures in gaming.
Is
Andy,
that it?
what have you been playing?
So I picked up State of Decay 2 this weekend.
Oh,
Juggernaut Edition, the Jugs Edition, and I didn't realize how those games they're really made as single player games the structure of it and how it plays out. I mean, you can do the multiplayer route to get your friends in there, but I think those games are just, if you play it, it feels like it was meant for a single player experience with multiplayer kind of tacked
mm.
on as just like an add on. but it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it, and I also finished the game this weekend.
Oh my!
I know.
And what game
Thanks,
did you
Corona.
finish?
I finished Gris or
Okay.
Grice or
Ogrees.
Grease.
Gr.
Grass.
Okay.
So I loved it. It's
Oh,
short.
good.
It's so short that I didn't realize how close to the end I was when I finished it.
Oh,
I was like, oh, I had like 20 minutes left in this game.
huh.
It's so bizarre.
Weird.
So I love the game. It like semi broke me because it's a lot of themes about depression and grief and coping with loss and
Sure.
those kind of things. So I did a Google search for like just some hidden shit that I missed along the way because I want to play it again. And I came across IGN's review. They gave it a 6.5.
Okay.
And I was like, "What? Why did you score this game in such a like lukewarm area?" I didn't quite get it.
And I suppose you disagree wholeheartedly,
I
or
I I kind of do because we discussed Gone Home last week,
yeah.
and that game is again, it's narrative driven. It's a quote unquote walking sim, and it's all about the story in
Hmm.
that game. This game, it's a bit esoteric, it's a bit abstract with what it's trying to communicate. Things are sort of up for interpretation,
Sure.
but it's got a gorgeous art style and it has actual legit gameplay. And it's, I want to say, just as long as Gone Home. One gets praised to high heavens, and this one gets like a kind of middling score. So I'm
Hmm.
kind of wondering what the disconnect there is between the two.
Maybe just the reviewer has different opinions.
Sure,
You know,
sure,
whatever. It is what
sure,
it
sure,
is.
sure. Yeah,
It is what it is.
yeah.
Um,
That's it. And
that's
those
it.
two games, just I played some. Oh, I hacked my PSTV this weekend
Oh, fun.
because I found it in a pile of crap in my office, and I was like, I could do stuff with this and make it useful again.
I got mine right here, literally
Oh,
directly
look
in
at
front
that!
of me.
Can't see it, but hey, good for you.
There it is. There it is. There's that PlayStation TV. Hot
You
commodity
actually
on eBay.
you bought that. You bought that thing. My friend gave it to me because he was like, I don't want this. I was like, I'll take it.
No,
I'll
no, I
find some use
definitely
for it.
bought it.
I'll
Um,
find some use for it.
I
Aside from a
mean, it's a cool little device. So
it is,
I, outside of Apex, I played a little bit more
of
of Dragon
course.
Ball Z. I'm trying to beat that. Um, Androids are on their way. So that game gets to a point where they are desperately trying to give you shit to do that is so insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Like things that happen on the show, like a show is entertaining because the characters have this dialogue, and there's always tension, and they're trying to train. So the part I'm up to um is there's these big bad guys that are coming 3 years from now. So all the fighters know that these guys are coming 3 years from now. How they know, I'll leave that. I'm not going to spoil that, but they know. And the game has you doing fetch quests in these 3 years, or at least in the beginning of this thing.
Oh no.
Like, for example, Vegeta wants to train in a gravity chamber. He wants to train in 300 times Earth gravity, because Goku trained in 100 times Earth's gravity at a previous time. So he wants to be 3 times as strong as him. So you go to the scientist, Bulma's dad, and he says, "Oh, find me these 3 things." So you go out in the world, you find them, you pick them up, and you just bring them back. Like that's literally all you do, um, and that's like I would say more than 70% of the quests that you do is just going around picking something up and bringing it back to somebody. The other ones are go here, fight uh, these bad guys that are a little bit more powerful than the normal bad guys, and when you kill them, come back to me and I'll give you experience points and stuff like that. So it's like that part of the game is really bad. I would say it's pretty abysmal. It's like down to like a 3 out of 10 just for the side quests and like the shit that they have you doing. But
Hmm.
as far as the presentation and like actually playing the main storyline, I have a blast doing it. So I'm just trying
Hmm.
to get through it. I also tried Call of Duty, the new battle royale Warzone.
Hmm.
Um, I I it's very well made.
The delay there says a lot.
It's very well made, and I could tell it
Sure.
is. But I
Uh-huh.
hate how they do the unlocks and all of the loadouts and all of the bullshit that you have to worry about. Like, just let me pick a character, go into this thing, pick up weapons, and shoot somebody. Like, that's all this should be. But they made it
That sounds
really.
like that's what it's supposed to be. That's what I thought it was going in.
They
I haven't
made
played it
it.
yet.
They made it very, very like the more you play, the more you unlock and the
Uh-huh.
more advantages you're going to have, because you're going to unlock weapons that you can put in a loadout. And then when you, so a loadout, you buy, when you kill things, or you could find money, or you could kill people and get money and all this stuff. And then you buy things in the match. And one of the things that you could buy is a loadout drop. So it'll drop a crate, and your predetermined loadouts will be in that crate. So if you
Uh-huh.
unlock a bunch of stuff, you're going to be able to put these loadouts. So some might say, well, everybody's leveling really quickly. Well, that's yes and no, because I've gone into matches where I see no people for 15-20 minutes because there's 200 people on the battlefield, and the battlefield is gigantic. There's people on rooftops just trying to snipe each other, and you get downed, and then you get picked up, and then you're sniping each other again, you get down, you get picked up. It's just not, for me, what makes Apex so great is that it's really frantic. It's frenetic. It's got a lot of high energy. Even when you're not seeing anybody, you know that right around the corner could be a squad, or two squads, and like all the players are way more balanced and stuff like that.
Right.
I
Well, I was
just
wondering what did you were you lacking another kind of battle royale type game in your life that made you want to
I
play
just
the
wanted to
Call of
try
Duty
it. I
version?
wanted to see
That was
if
just out
it.
of curiosity
I
because
just
you're
yeah.
let's take us to compare the two and see where it
I just
stacks up.
wanted to see, like, I do like Fortnite, but I hate building in Fortnite. And if you don't get to, like, if you get, like, I could consistently get down to like final couple of squads, but if you can't build, you're not going to win those matches. It's just not going to happen. These guys are like fucking geniuses. The way they build a castle with a moat and a drawbridge. They're
Yeah,
like
I
just.
don't have the dexterity nor the intelligence to build shit that fast, so
I know I know it can't be
just can't
that
do it.
hard because baby children are doing it.
Children do this.
Like 8-year-olds do it with touchscreen phones. Like, so I know that
Yes.
it's not like I just don't like doing it. I feel like it
I don't
takes
have the
away from the
patience as well
actual.
to learn how to do it. That's also my problem.
Right, right. um I like the guns in Warzone. I like the feel of the shooting. I think it's really, really good. I was actually pretty good. I was taking down a lot of dudes. Like, I'm pretty good at the game. um but for me, it's just kind of a lower energy Apex with a lot more
Right.
meta involved. Like, there's a
And you
lot
have to
of.
consider when you're kids and your parents aren't going to buy you a lot of games, here's a free game you can just totally immerse yourself in.
Right,
After a while, you're going to get good at it,
right. Well, they're both
playing
free,
for
which is
hours and hours on end.
Warzone is free, so um
Right.
yeah,
Right.
which is cool. I'm sure, like, me and Mikey Kirsch, we jumped in there. I'm sure if we had a full squad every time, it would be a little bit different. I could learn more of the nuances of the game, which weapons do what, because that's another thing. Like, there's weapon rarity, not attachment rarity.
Hmm.
So you're constantly, and there are other attachments that I haven't even gotten involved in. I see the weapon has like 4 things you can attach to it. I'm like, I don't want to fucking do that. Like, I just don't want to do it. So I'd rather just pick up a weapon and go, like, and just try and kill things.
And I
Um,
think this is your perfect segue into a minute of Apex with
that's
Steve.
right. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to get into a minute of Apex. But before we do, I got to bring up my clock app because I don't want to go over. I'm pretty sure I was exactly a minute last week, and I didn't do it with the app. But we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? Eh,
While you grab that, I need to grab a adapter from my laptop because I'm running
Uh-oh.
low
You're
because
letting
I
row on the
am
juice.
so
All
low.
right, here we go. A
You do
minute
that.
of Apex begins now. Mikey Kirsch and I have been killing it, dude. We have been getting in there. We're getting top twos. We're getting good squad. My shooting has gotten way better. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's Corona getting me, making me a better shooter. Uh
That's all it
I'm
took.
feeling
Just
I'm
a
feeling
fatal virus.
Here's an update. Here's an update for you. The worst weapon in the game, the Mozambique, I have been all about it. All about it. I've been putting those hammer point rounds in that bad boy, and I've been shooting dudes' faces clear off their heads. Like, I have just been just murdering with that thing. I've been running with some sort of automatic rifle, automatic machine, a small machine gun at SMG, as it were, and then I've been running with that Mozambique, and just like popping dudes in the face. Took care of a ton of my weeklies already. I only have like 6 weeklies to go until and then Tuesday it resets for another 6. But I'm really loving it. I'm liking it, but they do have to make some changes if they want to stay relevant after Call of Duty, and that is a minute of Apex.
That was exactly a minute. Good job. Great job,
All
buddy.
right, let's get the indie news update. Andy, you got anything for me?
So I do. The only real indie news that mattered last week was that Ori sequel came out.
Mm,
And I played it for a little bit. I love it so much. But I didn't read many reviews on the game, but it has a lot of like stuttering and frame drops
interesting.
and just general frame rate issues I've been seeing.
Okay,
And I went online, it seems to be a common complaint from a lot of people.
that's weird.
And I'm just wondering, like, I understand it's one of the best reviewed games of the year so far.
Sure.
Um, but it's not game breaking, but I feel like it's a kind of a huge oversight
Mm,
to ship a game that's. I mean, my PC isn't like the best PC,
hmm.
but then I read that on like the Xbox One OG and the S, it runs like hot garbage.
Interesting.
Like it slows down to a crawl sometimes,
Hmm.
which it's kind of like my fear when we're talking about Xbox releasing games on both the X and the Series X.
Right.
Like, what will the X version look like for Hellblade 2?
Hmm.
Will it be so much inferior to the point where it's kind of non-playable?
God, I
Or will
hope
you
not.
sacrifice what could be a really great looking game that would run smoothly, but it has to also work on the older hardware?
Yeah.
So it's a great game, visually stunning. I love the Metroidvania feel of it. Um, Beautiful franchise. I love it to death, but it needs like a patch or two just to address those issues.
According to our chat, there was a patch recently, so
Mm,
maybe that'll do it.
well,
So I
there you
have a
go.
couple of things for the indie section here.
Sure.
On
Suck it to me.
dualscreens.com, we have a couple of reviews that have gone up this week. One is for Wonderling on Nintendo Switch. Thornstone reviewed that game, gave it a buy it. Says Wonderling is a great casual title that can be easily enjoyed by everyone. It is filled to the brim with inspired charm and packs a solid gameplay punch. The accessibility of the limited control scheme does nothing to detract from its depth, offered by fantastic level design, and proves to be a great for showing off the Switch's portable edge. From its
Which is
fun riff on retro platformers to its tight and compelling gameplay, Wonderling is a great time on Switch. When you can, pick this one up for hours of fun puzzles, exciting platforming, and wacky dialogue.
one of those in there is like a box art quote. One of those in the mix.
One of
One of those
those.
lines.
One
I
of
think the
those.
first one is the most
The
appropriate one you could
next
use.
one, and I don't know, I think this counts as indie. I mean, it's Arc System Works. I don't know if this counts as indie, but
I don't think
I
so.
don't know who published Arc this game though. Let me see. Was it on here?
Yeah,
Arc
it's
System.
Xseed. So maybe?
I feel like Xseed. Yeah, Xseed is probably kind of indie.
Sure. No, I think Xseed is more AAA.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, if you want to know about that, go to
Yeah, it's Zelda
dualscreens.com.
series. That's fine.
That was also reviewed. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus also got a buy it. And the conclusion here is all of this comes together to make Grand Blue an experience you can easily fall in love with. It's simple interest may turn into fevered lab work when a character clicks, pushing you to exploit the simple mechanics to find devastating combos. When you get the chance, pick up Grand Blue Fantasy Versus because anyone who gives it an honest shot will find the game's accessible depth endlessly rewarding.
That game is a lot of fun.
It was cool.
Could you imagine like a fighting game that has like um MMO features, like just cooldowns for certain abilities? It's really
Yeah,
wild to
it's
play.
pretty cool.
And it's so pick up and go, which is what I love about it.
True. Very true.
Are we going into like the main beef?
Here it comes, baby. Here it comes,
Beef?
guys.
Where's the
We
beef?
got some fucking news to go over
Where's
here.
the beef? This is a
Um,
lot of stuff.
it's a lot of stuff, and
We'll go through it in short order, but it is a lot to get through.
yes. All right. So before we get into the dual screens report, let's talk about the news that didn't make the report. Starting with something from Sony, and this comes from Mr. Jason Schreier at Kotaku. Andy, you want to take this one?
Yeah, so one of my most hated words in the English dictionary that's been used lately with regards to gaming and development, crunch. Talk about crunch again, guys. So, fresh from Kotaku.com, as Naughty Dog crunches on The Last of Us 2, developers wonder how much longer this approach can last.
Hmm.
It's a valid point. I think as developers increase the size and scope of their projects going into next gen and delivering things in a timely fashion without 2,500 delays behind them, it really makes you think how much longer can we pressure developers to work 100-hour plus work weeks to push a game out the door?
I think they need to redefine what crunch is
Right,
because, like, for example, when I have a project due, a bid due at work, I may stay a little bit later, or I may go in a little bit early. I may work from my computer at home a little bit just to kind of get my shit done. Um, but typically on a job, it falls on me. I don't have a team of people like helping me do the the job.
right,
Um, but that falls on that's my shortcomings. That's because I'm not
right,
meeting
right,
my goal, which is to complete this in a the time that I'm allotted. So
right. So just to sort of like kick this off, I want to read the opening paragraph of this piece by Jason to kind of like frame this whole issue.
all right,
So he says, on Friday night last month, some artists at the video game studio Naughty Dog were working on their latest game when they heard a crash. A large metal pipe had fallen from above them and had landed right next to their desks. If it had dropped a few feet closer, the consequences might have been dire. It was late, past 9 p.m., and the construction workers above had perhaps recklessly assumed that nobody was there. But at Naughty Dog, people were always there. So, a few things here. As someone who's worked closely with building maintenance and scheduling facilities work like construction, this seems like a glaring oversight to not alert people that folks are here at a certain time, don't do things. So, to me, when you have a team of people that are there constantly into the wee hours of the night to schedule construction work, seems a little
no,
idiotic
it
to
might
me.
it might not have been their studio. They may be sharing a building space.
Right, but if there's going to be work, you need to alert the building. Like, hey, if you're planning anything, our guys are still here. Now, listen, it could have happened. It's hard to kind of go into how this fits in because it's a whole if it had fallen on someone, but it didn't really fall on someone, and it highlights the point that they were there late. If they had left earlier, then a catastrophe could have been avoided, which it was, but by
Whatever.
sheer luck, it seems.
Solution's easy. Stop making people that you hire for day work at night. Don't ask them to do it, and also hire people that can work at night. Just run
Right,
twenty four
and
hour
then
crews.
this came into a huge conversation on our Discord with Mikey Kirsch about the nature of the industry and changing development as a whole and our approach to it. Because my stance was, well, you're a game developer, you're making a game, you set a deadline that Naughty Dog is in a rare spot that they can set their own deadlines. If they got to push back on something, Sony won't give them any flack.
Right.
They're not going to pull a Bioware and say, or like EA and say, no, guys, you got to push Anthem out like tomorrow. So if it looks like shit, if it plays like shit, get out the door because we don't care. Just get it done by this date. And that's that.
And take a picture smiling with the gold disc.
Right. And Naughty Dog, if they say to Sony, listen, here was our initial launch date. We're not going to make any time to polish. Sony says, guys, you're fucking Naughty Dog. Just take whatever time you need just to get it done right.
We're assuming they said that.
Right. I mean, I know that's not the exact conversation, but I can gather, given their sales record, that they're not going to care if they can push back by a month or two
Hmm.
in the grand scheme of things, because people will still gobble up the next Last of Us game
All
or
right,
Uncharted
we got
game.
to move on. Uh,
Yes.
Coronavirus is boosting Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4 sales in South Korea.
Hey, it's good for
And
something.
it's not just South Korea because I heard uh, through the grapevine that people that were going to stores like PS4s and Xboxes and Switches or Switch consoles outside of Switch Lite have all been sold out. Um, Sales are furthermore, Lot Mart, which is one of the famous hypermarkets in South Korea, has reported that Tori's online mall has seen a significant increase in sales, up to 336%. So, cool. People are ready to hunker down.
Yay. Do it. Not playing Xbox though for some reason.
I mean,
It's not playing that Xbox.
it's South Korea. They don't play Xbox over there.
Oh, they don't break it.
Xbox
They
is a
don't break
very
it.
uniquely UK and United States thing. Um,
Only.
The Martha is Dead developer, impressed by PS5's previously unannounced texel density.
Ooh.
PS5 features praised by LKA. Speaking with the latest issue of official PlayStation Magazine UK, LKA's studio head Luca Dalco revealed how the console's technical capabilities allow for the studio to create eyeball-popping visuals, especially when it comes to horror games. Here's a little quote for you,
Yes.
and then we'll move on. PS5 specifications are incredibly exciting, particularly for us. Is the additional graphical power and the inclusion of ray tracing architecture. Our studio has come a long way over 4 years, and Martha is Dead will strive for photorealism. We're excited to see the next generation hardware incoming to support us bringing our vision to players. We worked a lot in order to use the highest resolution textures as possible on the PS4. Nonetheless, PS5 will allow us to use an incredible texel density up to 4096 pixel px/m. That means the visual will be fully detailed, also in higher resolutions. It's one of the most important advances in visual capacity that we have been waiting for. So, cool stuff. I mean, I don't know how much more realistic these games could look, but
Oh,
bring
they
it on.
can.
This next one's right up your ass. Why don't you talk about that one?
Oh, I love things up my ass. Here we
And
go.
do it.
Ba-da-ba-ba. Ooh, this is a wild card news. If I can just click on it. There we go. This is coming from twinfinite.net, and it says that FF7 remake producer on Parasite Eve. It would be a waste not to use these characters.
Mm-hmm.
And look no further than my Andy Explains It All episode on Parasite Eve to really understand why we need these games. So, when asked in an interview if you'd like to see more Parasite Eve in the future, he seemed, Akitase-san, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
seemed keen on the idea. Yes, it's true that for the third birthday, I worked for the PSP version. The characters are very rich and deep, especially Ayabrea.
Well,
I don't know of any plans right now, but it would be a waste not to use these characters. And I agree.
100%.
Please bring it back. Just to do a full-blown Parasite Eve 1 remake, same battle mechanics, with modern graphics, modern visuals, and just tweak the soundtrack to make it sound a bit better.
Just a wee bit.
And that's all you need. And then voice acting. That's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
A nice epic sci-fi RPG.
Mm-hmm. 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 The Last of Us is being adapted into an HBO TV series. The Chernobyl creator is working with Naughty Dog's Neil Druckmann on this, and this is coming from Polygon. A television adaptation of The Last of Us, the post-apocalyptic survival franchise from PlayStation studio Naughty Dog, is in the works at HBO, reports The Hollywood Reporter. The project is intended to be a TV series, according to The Hollywood Reporter. It is being led by Craig Mazin, who previously worked with HBO on the acclaimed 2019 miniseries Chernobyl, and is writing the upcoming Borderlands movie. Interesting. Mazin will team up with Naughty Dog's vice president Neil Druckmann, co-director and writer of both The Last of Us and The Last of Us Part 2, to write and executive produce the TV show. So I'm just going to leave a quick question here, and if the chat wants to chime in, they can. And listeners, if you're listening at a later time, maybe email us at feedback@ndspodcast.com or tweet at us at ndspodcast. Who do you want to play, Joel and Ellie? Andy, who do you think?
Oh wow, that's a loaded question. A part of me is inclined to go with a no-name slash aspiring like on the rise actor. I don't think you want to cast someone that's a huge star. in this. Go with a fresh face,
Mm-hmm.
fresh-ish face.
Buzz Killington says The Rock and Kevin Hart.
And that's our audience,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, in a nutshell.
um, hmm.
Who would you pick?
I okay. So it's really hard for me not to see um Hugh Jackman as Joel just because of Logan.
Hmm.
Um, but I would probably see Ellie's tough, man. Hmm. I don't know,
You know
man.
who I could maybe pick for Joel?
Who's
I
that?
just finished watching The Stranger, first season on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Armitage.
Okay.
If you could pull off a good American accent, and if you get, and he can grow a good beard too. I think he has like a good Joel look. Let me send you a
I think Hugh Jackman and Millie Bobby
quick link.
Brown would be a good combination. Because I think Millie's like 14 now. Not
Let
even.
me send this to you. I
13
want to get
maybe.
your feedback on this pick.
And she's
Not
fantastic.
exactly a fresh face, but he's. I think he has the proper that look, and he's not. He's not of a mega star status like a Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
But I think
Oh yeah, he
if
could
you
do
give him
it.
the
Yeah,
proper
yeah, yeah.
costume,
Yeah, yeah, I know Richard Armitage. I know
yeah, yeah.
him. Yeah, I mean that would be cool. But I think Millie Bobby Brown would make a good Ellie.
As long as you
Doctor.
cast anyone but Ellen Page for Ellie,
Well, she's too old now.
right?
If you want to
But
make part two real
she's a
quick,
tiny person, so she could pass for like a 12-year-old, so it's totally fine.
maybe,
All
maybe.
right, next bit of news: Ghost of Tsushima got a release date. This is
Woohoo!
exactly why we don't care about PS5 right now, kids.
Oh, we'll
Because
get to that in a
Sony
little
has
bit.
still got some great games coming out, and they're stacked till end of June. June 26th. We're getting sucker punched by Sucker Punch. Can't wait for this game. It looks amazing. It has the art direction in this game is just gold. That's the best way to describe it. And it's amazing how a game looks this great on the PS4. It
Hmm.
reminds me of the PS3 going just at its twilight year. How some really great games are coming out that really understood the cell processor and really took advantage of it.
Hmm.
We're seeing some gorgeous games coming out of first party studios from Sony, and this is just one of them coming out this year.
Our friend
And
Farmer
June
Pete mentions an actress named Matea Conforti.
26th. Oh,
She's from Power on Stars.
oh, let's see
She
that. Let's take a look at
plays
that. The old Google search.
Elise or Eliza Marie from that
See
show.
what that pulls up. Let's take a peek.
So if you want to look at
Oh
that,
yeah, she's cute. She could probably pull it off.
all right, moving along down, Yakuza. Yakuza 0 hits Project X Cloud, Ninja Theory, and Rare are working on touch controls? Question mark. Uh, Microsoft
Question
revealed
mark.
what's coming to Project X Cloud soon. Aside from Yakuza 0 joining the service, Ninja Theory and Rare are working on touch schemes for games like Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, and Sea of Thieves. So whatever the
Why?
hell that.
Is it for the iPad-like
Yeah,
versions for
probably.
xCloud?
Yeah, probably.
Hmm.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
I mean, Senua, I can see that game isn't really like action
Tap,
driven.
tap,
There's
tap,
moments,
tap,
but it's
tap,
simple
tap,
like
tap, tap.
hacky slash.
Yeah,
It's like one button you're pressing really, so that could be easy for touch controls.
yeah.
Like what was that game for the iPhone? Infinity Blade.
Infinity Blade. Yep.
Yeah.
Uh, Devolver Digital put out a tweet after E3 was canceled, saying the week of E3 has always been a big part of what we do, and we are generally bummed about the cancellation of the event itself. Lots to juggle right now. We plan on having a live stream Devolver Direct / press conference and possibly more. So Devolver Digital is still in the E3 game. Good Old Games released Mortal Kombat 4 on
Hell
PC out
yeah.
of nowhere, and that was the PlayStation version, so that's
I
good
have
to
a
know.
question. Why not Mortal Kombat Gold, the Dreamcast version? It had 4 more characters.
You know, it's
It boggles the mind.
nobody knows anything.
I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Nobody knows.
And maybe it's DLC down the line. They'll charge $5 for it.
Also in the news, more about E3. Warner Brothers Games was planning to do an E3 press conference this year for the first time to talk about Batman, Harry Potter, and Rocksteady's game, among others. Remains to
All
be
right.
seen what they will do now. So
Just do it online, guys.
do something. Don't
Do it
be
direct.
don't be a bunch
Don't
of
don't
tool
give me
bags.
this. We were gonna do it. Just you can still do it.
Oh man, look what happened. Now we can't do it.
Oh no, we can't show our games
Uh,
now. I guess we'll see you next
this
year.
came from Reddit, and this was from Buzz Killington. Phil Spencer is playing the Xbox streaming thing test app, the XCloud, on PC. So he was playing
Great.
that. So
So
that's out there
great.
in the wild. That's a thing
There's
that's
also
happening.
one bit of Xbox news, Steven,
Oh,
before
that's
you move on.
that's not on here.
Xbox Live went down for a couple hours today, but
Those
it's back
sons
up
of
now, but it
bitches.
did go down for a little bit
DDoS, probably because of
because
the
of Corona.
coronas.
I think they blame Corona.
But and now the final thing we want to talk about. You wrote an article that got quite a bit of traction. It got
I
quite a few
did.
clicks on the
Look
old
at
website.
me.
Entitled "The PlayStation 5." PlayStation 5 details can wait. PS4's continued greatness on the horizon. And of course, you
Yeah.
go and you can find this at dualscreens.com. I'll drop the link in the chat if you are watching live. I'll just throw it in there. So this bad boy, you talk about all the games that are coming out soon. You got Neo 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Last of Us Part 2, among some other things as well. So do you want to just tell our listeners a little bit about why you think that we don't need PlayStation 5 details?
Because if you look at in starting from February of this year, when you have Dreams and MLB, the show, and then you go into March with your Neo, Final Fantasy in April, Last of Us in May, I'm sorry, and Iron Man VR in May, and Ghosts in June. There's no reason to take all the air out of the room with PS5 announcement or details.
Mm.
Because to go back to the Martha is dead comment, it seems that having developers who have the actual hardware
Mm-hmm.
working on games with it, let them be like your subtle PR team, speaks volumes. Because I guarantee you, Microsoft saying, here's our flops, look how floppy it is, that's fine. But if a developer is touting how great, who has no stake in the game, mind you, is saying how impressed they are by your technology
Mm-hmm.
and what it can do for their games and the future of gaming, that goes a lot further than Sony saying, well, here's our flops. We're floppier. So much more floppy than you are,
The
Microsoft.
biggest flops.
Right. So that's one thing. And also like we don't need it right now. Like we're not starved. I don't see my thing is I think it's like this concerted effort between the game and all the games journalism and the media. They're trying to act, and especially Forbes. Forbes is the biggest offender of all. They're trying to make it seem like
They know
Sony,
anything.
where's your shit? Come on, we're waiting for you. Like we have, Microsoft here saying giving all the stuff. Don't you want to give us some information? Fuck no. We don't have to. They're not pressured by that because they know they have this whole list of games that are going to be only on their console between now and end of June. That's a big part of the year. Let
Mm.
those games breathe. Let them enjoy the spotlight. Let them make their sales. And when the time comes, which is going to come, likely, maybe beginning of June or even, in summertime after the fact, then tell us. Besides, by the looks of it, the next gen might get delayed because of Corona. So
Definitely
bear
going to
away
get
anyway.
delayed because of Corona. I mean, they're talking about starting baseball in June now.
Right.
So
So,
the
it doesn't have to
CDC
happen.
recommended 8 weeks of complete shutdown of the United
Right.
States.
I just don't get the entitlement mentality of you need information. No, you don't. You can wait.
You need nothing.
And did you read the comment on that article, by the way?
No.
Someone was saying how they're not going to support the current gen because they want PS5. So I was like, what? So you're not going to buy any of the games coming out? Which, by the way, they're also going to be compatible both ways. So why not care about those games? If you buy them now, you just play them on your PS5. People are just a little touched in
Well,
the
we don't
head, I
know that for
feel,
sure. But anyway,
sometimes.
breaking
No, no, no,
news.
no. It's gonna be a thing. They'd be dumb not to do that.
Breaking news. This is stupid.
What?
Buzz
Breaking
Killington has
news.
dropped it in the chat.
Oh shit.
Over 2,000 Animal Crossing fans petitioned Nintendo to release New Horizons early due to coronavirus.
Shut up. Get out of
They
here.
wanted 5 days
What?
early, Andy.
5 days. Oh my
Nintendo should
god.
release Animal Crossing ahead of its scheduled March 2020 release date due to the mounting concerns over coronavirus. There is no better time for Nintendo to release Animal Crossing for the
Talk
world to
about
enjoy.
entitlement. I was just saying.
Over the last few days, we've
Oh
seen
boy.
bold measures to attempt to reduce the spread of COVID
Bold.
19. With large gatherings of people being discouraged by our leaders and lawmakers, we've seen serious responses from countries to reduce international travel as a means of preventing the spread of the virus. In America alone, sports leagues like the NBA, NHL, MLB, and as well large festivals like South by Southwest and Coachella have postponed operations, while experts do their best to develop effective means of testing, treating, and stunting the spread of the virus that has caused the world to pause and take caution. In an unprecedented move, the Walt Disney Company has even decided to cease operations within their theme parks, a move that has become as a shock from the company, who is known for its reputation of remaining open throughout all manner of disaster and panic. The public response that has left the consumers with an ever-shrinking list of options for what they can spend their time and money on leads me to my ultimate point that Nintendo should release Animal Crossing effective immediately. People are staying indoors as a result of a public concern that the virus has caused, and more than ever, people need an escape worthy of the magnitude
Oh
of
my
our
god,
current
this is the most
crisis.
full of shit post I've heard in my entire life.
These 5 days, Andy, are going to make a big
This should be
difference.
hype. This is hype worthy.
Well, technically, he did say hype zone. Animal
Five
Crossing
days? Oh,
can
Bubs,
provide
you're winning the
hours
money with
and
that one.
hours of entertainment for those who find themselves
Oh
with a
my
lack of
god, this is the
options.
most
What are
bloviating
we
thing
going to
I've
do when the
heard.
power's turned off, when nobody goes to work at the power plant, Andy?
Yeah, I got because you know you can beat that game in 5 days, right?
You,
So let's get it before the power goes away.
you can't charge your Switch. All right, let's get into the dual screens report, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into the dual screens report.
Oh my
Andy,
god.
let's start off with Sony. We have learned, this is coming from Rely on Horror, which you
One of
can
my
speak a little bit,
favorite horror websites,
right?
by the by.
And you could speak to their,
Huge fan of theirs.
they usually get things right. Um, on their Twitter, they said, "We have learned from multiple sources that a Silent Hill series reboot and Silent Hills revival are both in the works by Sony. The reboot is helmed by former Team Silent and possibly even Project Siren members." And then I'll click the link here and we'll see what they're talking about. See if it's clickbait. I don't know. A first source, who, and this is again a Rely on Horror, our first source who we've come to trust well, indicated that Taishiro Toyama, director and writer of the original 1999 Silent Hill, and Akira Yamaoka,
Yamaoka.
composer for the majority of the franchise, are also returning alongside Masahiro Ito. The trio will helm a soft reboot of the Silent Hill series, possibly just called Silent Hill. SIE Japan Studio, which possibly includes team members from Project Siren, the group behind Siren Blood Curse for the PlayStation 3, will be behind its development in some capacity, either in full or in part. Our source states that the title has been in the works for about a year. Our second source, which has no connection to the first, was aware of Ito's involvement in a new Silent Hill title and informed us of that information some time ago. The second Silent Hill title referenced in previous rumors is still being worked out at the moment, but it's looking as if it very well could be Silent Hills, Hideo Kojima's famously canceled title. According to our first source, Sony is working to patch up the relationship between Kojima Productions and Konami in order to resurrect the game due to the amount of buzz and continued demand for it 5 years after its cancellation. Our second source shared the same information with us in the past. We can now report on it with some confidence in its legitimacy. How hard is your boner right now?
So if my laptop falls over, you know why?
Mm. Mm.
So a few things about this news story. This has been sort of telling for a while. This doesn't start with this piece of information. It's a lot of things that happened in the beginning of the year that have been leading towards this sort of rumor. The first was Masahiro Ito back in January of this year said that he was working on a new horror game that he hopes does not get canceled, which I think is a cheeky sort of jab at Silent Hills getting canceled 5 years ago. Then in a tweet, I believe way back, even further than January of this year, he mentioned if he had the chance to work on a Silent Hill game again, the first thing he would do was kill off Pyramid Head in the first 10 minutes of the game. He'd just get rid of him. Then, recently, he had a single tweet that just said RIP Pyramid Head. So those things kind of align.
Well, guess
It's
what,
not
Andy?
much of a stretch.
Guess what, Andy?
What?
I hope you. I hope your laptop is sturdy, because Buzz Killington just dropped a tidbit in the chat.
Oh boy.
This comes from Game Rant.
Oh
Sony
boy.
looking to buy Metal Gear, Silent Hill, Castlevania from Konami.
Oh my god.
Another nugget is added to the rumor mill about Konami and the Silent Hill series, claiming that Sony wants
Oh
to
my
purchase
God.
that franchise and 2 others. Rumors about
I
a
need to go
Silent...
jerk off. I have to go jerk off.
I have to release...
I have to go masturbate. Steven,
rumors about a
my
Silent
titties
Hill
are getting so
reboot
erect.
have been swirling about for weeks now, and a recent post on 4chan has now thrown
Okay,
2 additional
now you
Konami
lost me.
franchises into the mix. According to the post, Sony hopes to remake Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, the original games that launched the series over 20 years ago,
God, yes.
with the help of Hideo Kojima. The company also wants to soft reboot the Silent Hill series, possible with Kojima's involvement, and then same all this other bullshit. What else? For the Castlevania series, Sony apparently has a full reboot in mind, which it would accomplish with collaboration with Koji Igarashi and Satoru Ida, whatever, 2 veteran developers who have worked on multiple games in the franchise. The reboot would be developed by Sony Japan and result in a 3D Bloodborne style overhaul for the series.
All right, so this sounds to me like someone read the Rely on Horror piece and said, how can I capitalize on this and make it more insane? Because the Rely on Horror piece mentions how Sony was trying to just license the IP. Like, with Sony and Marvel, how they work out their deals with Spider-Man. So that makes more sense to me. Like, hey, we don't want to out and out buy this from you because you have your pachinkos that you want to make money off of. We get that. But if you're not going to make a new game, then if we fund it and work at a royalties deal with you so you can get somebody on the back end, and it's our game on our system, we want to make it happen. Also, there was a while back of Konami they were taking pitches from other companies into how they can revive the franchise. Also, I read that Sony has been trying to patch up the Konami-Kojima relationship since his departure.
Right, we just read that. That was part of the Rely on Horror story.
And also, Kojima, shortly after Death Stranding came out, he was tweeting about reading up and watching a bunch of horror media.
Yes.
To help make the greatest horror game imaginable.
And that was part of the article that Buzz just sent me as well. They did mention that.
So
tweet as well.
It seems like the Silent Hills is and also a while back I read about there was 2 Silent Hill games in the works, and there's a new movie coming out, which was confirmed by the director. So again, it seems like all the stars are aligning for this information, and also Sony announced, again to no one's surprise, that the PS5 is going to be focused a lot on single-player story-driven experiences.
Right, and those 3 would be a huge boon.
There's no better game series than Silent Hill.
I think there's no better game series than Castlevania.
True. Or Metal Gear.
Now, I want you to picture something, all right? I want you to close your eyes.
I'm just to close my eyes and take my pants off?
I want you to close your eyes and keep your hands in sight. All right, this is what I want you to
put them up in the air.
This is what I want you to picture for a second. E3, like little video that Sony puts out, right?
Okay.
And it's a black screen, and then you hear the codec, right?
Oh yes.
Right? Pops up. It's the PS1 Campbell Snake, and he's doing the whole spiel about the mission, right? And he's doing his swimming in the water mission. It's all the shitty PS1 graphics, whatever. Does the whole thing, gets out of the water. He drops the snorkel, I think is what it was, that he drops on the ground, and it pans up. It pans up, right? And it's just your normal PS1 graphics, and then the graphics fade, or like they change to like
When he
super.
rips off his mask, it becomes next
It
gen
becomes
graphics.
next gen graphics, and then it just fades out and it goes dun, 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 coming
You have to stop.
2025 or
I am so
2024.
wet.
Come on, bro. It's coming. It's coming.
Like I could drown a baby in my pants right now.
A baby will die today on this show. All right, moving along. Let's go to Xbox now. That was Sony's little tidbit here. Buzz says, or he goes in a box PS1 and comes out in UHD 4K. He goes into a box and then comes out in UHD 4K. That's good. I like that. Um, so Xbox and Ubisoft. But we're going to speak about Xbox on this one. Will host digital events following E3's cancellation. So Xbox head Phil Spencer and Ubisoft have announced that both companies will be hosting digital events in place of E3, which was just canceled. Spencer stated on Twitter that details on the timing of the digital event will be revealed in the coming weeks, and this new plan will be a way to celebrate the next gen of gaming with the Xbox community who love to play. So here's the biggest part of this is that even though they said that they don't have anything specifically coming to next gen only, like for the next 18 or so months, or the first 18 or so months of Xbox Series X's life, the fact that they still say that it's going to be about next gen goes to show me that they are ready and willing to go full gear regardless of, I mean, this was last week's, but they're still looking to go regardless of the shortages that are likely to happen due to coronavirus. They're still looking to put all our eggs in the next gen basket already, which is a good encouraging sign. Maybe they're already in production of these items and that they don't anticipate a shortage. I mean,
Hmm.
when only like 1 million people buy your system anyway, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's hard to have a shortage
Shortage.
for that.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Yeah,
when you're selling 20 times that at launch, then you can come back.
sure.
Um, dig, stab, stab, twist knife. Um,
So much shade.
I mean, I think I think it's pretty obvious that a lot of people
This
are going
is
to be
the
doing this.
obvious. What else are you gonna do?
But here's what's interesting about this. Aside from the fact that they're going to be focusing on next gen, this probably opens the door to companies that weren't going to be at E3 at all, or weren't planning on doing something, that now they could probably throw something together and still be a part of that conversation. Like it could be an online digital festival the whole week of E3 at this
Yeah.
point. Like we know Devolver's going to do something, but what about the companies that weren't necessarily going to be there? I think Kind of Funny is also going to be doing another one of their indie showcases.
Look, even Sony said that they would do something around E3, just not be a part of E3 itself. So at this point, there is no E3 this year.
Right.
When these guys do their presentations, it's not going to be with E3 branding on it. It'll be, hey guys, here's our June update for you.
But
Not going to call it an E3 update.
I'm wondering if it
So
will be. I'm
why would it though?
I'm wondering
It's
if
E3.
E3. I'm wondering if the I'm wondering if they do something like if E3 comes out and they say the ESA they come out and they say, oh listen, we can't have anything physically there, but we are going to produce these conferences as one package, as one festival under our banner. We're gonna
Right, then
do.
you got to buy in though. Like they still want to make
No,
their
they
money.
don't necessarily have to, but like
I'm sure they'll charge a fee to be under that
yeah,
umbrella of like this festival.
maybe, or maybe they don't because they don't they've gotten enough shit the last year. Like honestly, they just been getting shit on for
No, man, I would just say
how
let's let it
long.
die for the year. I think it's a good time
It
to
might die
reassess what
forever.
E3 is.
It might die forever.
Sure, this is like the death knell I feel of E3, to be honest.
Mm.
It going away. Uh,
Thanks,
but yeah, I feel
Wuhan.
like listen, I really feel like we're gonna see a lot of these throughout the month of June. Like as soon as one or two do it, they're all gonna do it. You're gonna get Activision one. You're gonna get
Well, let's bleed this into our wild card because our wild card was going to
sure.
talk about how E3 was canceled.
Yes.
Um, so obviously the coronavirus is a much bigger concern than anybody thought. Um, uh, France is shut down. Italy is shut down. I believe Spain is going to be shut down completely. They just canceled.
Germany too also shut their borders down recently.
I'm talking about complete shutdown. I'm talking about curfews, people inside, no businesses, no
New Jersey
work, no
City got the
school.
curfew the other
Um,
day,
but in the
10 p.m.
United States, they just canceled school. In New York, they just canceled school for at least 2 months.
Hmm.
I mean, that's a long time, and they're still talking about possibly doing it for the rest of the year. I don't know what they're gonna do with students. Like, hooray, you graduate. Like, how's
Wasn't
that
and
gonna
also
work?
NYU had also moved all their classes online.
Every college is online now.
Yeah.
Every college, like anywhere you look, they're doing online classes now. Um, Everything is effectively like I think what you're going to see is you're going to see essential services, and I think you're still going to see restaurants open but not open to the public. I think they're going to do deliveries. I think they're going to up their delivery staff. Um, I mean, you're cooking food. I mean, I don't think the cooked food can have corona
So
on it. I
this
don't
is the
know.
Death Stranding.
I think
Kojima got it
I
right.
think we're yeah. I think we're getting close.
This
I
is
think
we're in it.
uh,
We're gonna rely on delivery men to bring us our goods
Buzz
and to
mentions
keep
that
us back in
Portugal
the
is
country.
also shut down completely. Um, there's a lot of scary stuff going on with this COVID-19. I mean, the United States, like I know people, either through other people or people directly that have symptoms of corona. They have symptoms of COVID-19. They have a terrible cough, chest pain, all that stuff, and they're going to hospitals and they're asking to be tested, and the hospitals are declining them testing them. A, because they don't have enough tests, and B, they're well, this is me putting the tinfoil hat on, but they're asking them if they've been abroad lately, and they say no, and they say then you don't need a test, which is just lowering the numbers that we're reporting in this country. Like if we had tests and we're testing
Right, because
everybody
if you don't, yeah, 'cause you're gonna see once we have more tests out, it's gonna spike up the number of cases
dramatically,
because
yeah,
it's hard to know if we're not testing people
right.
for
And
Wuhan virus.
something
So,
scary that I could share with everybody if they weren't, I don't think, I don't, before
ooh,
we recorded,
I love some good old fashioned fear mongering.
good old fashioned fear stuff. But when my wife was away last week, that she was away and I was with the kids for 5 days. Today, Colorado sent out I don't know who in Colorado. I think it was just like the government. I don't know or whatever, governor. Who knows? But they said that if you visited the town that she visited, you need to be quarantined because they have an outbreak right now in that town that she was visiting, the little mountain town. So it's probably in this house, and it's terrifying. But you know what? It is what it is.
Now, because your wife may have it, are you staying home from work tomorrow?
I mean, I'm working from home regardless.
Okay,
I
so
was
your
I
company
was
has
work
issued a mandate to
not
work from
necessarily a
home.
mandate, but I'm just like I'm not doing it. I'm not going out there.
Great.
I
But at least you
may
know,
have to
like, so
go.
it's gonna be you and the kids and the wife are in home
We've
indefinitely.
been at home. We've gone next door to my parents' house once this week.
Okay, so at the very least, you'll know in the next 2 weeks or so if any of you have it.
Oh yeah, I mean we feel like it's coming.
Yeah, I think you just want it at this point. You're saying your throat scratchy before, or you're like, yeah, I got it. I definitely got it.
Uh,
Do you
yeah.
want it?
No, I just kind of want to get it over
Do you
with.
want the Wuhan, Steven?
If I have it, I want it to be done. I want it to be over with. I want to feel it. I want to get over it, and I want to wash my hands of it. Like that's what I
Well, if you
want.
wash your hands, you wouldn't be this mess now, would you?
I wash my hands. Believe me, I wash my hands. Um, to continue about regarding this, what I don't think next gen's happening this year. I think there's so much crazy. Well, I guess it could happen, but
Weren't
it's
we
gonna.
just saying about next year not happening, and being delayed, and you were saying it's gonna be fine. It's like gonna go.
No, I never said that. Um, no, I think that there's a possibility that Xbox is already doing it. They already have next gen in production
Right, of course.
because they are so willing to talk about it. But Sony may not have that in production. They may not have all their components written down and ready to go, ordered and ready to go.
No. Just because we haven't heard about it doesn't mean it's not still in full swing at
I'm
this
just
point.
saying it's a
It
possibility.
seems like a really asinine assumption to make.
Not really, because last time they only started developing 6 months from release, so we're not even there yet.
Right,
So
but they still got out the door, and I think given they have a target, they're gonna make it. They just want to be quiet because there's other things to focus on for the time being.
we will see. There was video that or whatever. I mean, it's probably propaganda because it came from China, but it was a bunch of doctors removing their masks in Wuhan in the emergency hospitals, like the pop up hospitals that they built. Um, But yeah, it's they have it, I think first of all, I think China was hit a lot harder than they told us.
And China says they were, yeah.
I mean, I think they say what 80,000 cases. I think they had to have had more than that,
You probably want to double that number.
at least. They're so densely
If they were
populated.
burning their dead at some point, it's probably a much larger number than that.
Did you hear? Did you hear? I don't want to. I don't mean to laugh, but did you hear what these
You
fuckers?
totally just did, by the way.
Did you
They were
hear
just
what
burning
North
people.
Korea did?
Oh wait, was it that tweet?
Somebody was sick and they just shot him dead in his head.
All right, so there was a tweet that went. I think it was from a parody Kim Jong Un, a Twitter handle.
No, this was
It
different.
was so it was saying like 8 a.m. Number of infected citizens 1, like 9 a.m. number 0, 10 a.m. 1, 10:30 0,
All
12
right,
o'clock 1,
that's pretty
1
funny.
o'clock 0.
That's pretty funny. But either way, I think I'm hoping that next gen goes off without a hitch, but I'm also fully expecting it to be at least delayed a little bit, which is fine. I mean, I just want people to be healthy and for us to be able to get past this thing and not be.
Listen, we've been through similar things before. You know, Ebola, H1N1, swine flu. We've survived things, and not of this magnitude, but this is why you have to look to the past to learn for the future. I think when you look at what's happening now in markets, not the market, but actual markets
Mhm,
around the world, this
mhm.
mass hysteria of buying shit
Right.
that we don't need. I
Well, Buzz
think
Killington actually has a question here. He says, "Do they delay next gen, or do they keep it launching this year, but only ship to your own house? No buying it from a big store like Best Buy launch days and stuff like that."
listen, it's all going to depend on what happens at that point. We're talking about winter or holiday of this year.
Yeah.
If we're still in the throes of, if we're still dealing with Corona at that point on a global level, and there's no antidote or antivirus,
Well, yeah,
then
there won't
who
be
gives a
for at
shit
least a
about
year.
next gen if we're all dying in the streets?
No, but you're missing the point. This isn't about us still being sick. This is about people going to a store, buying multiple copies, flipping them online. It's about having this. There's going to be a supply problem, probably. Regardless, it may still come out, but there still could be a supply problem, and you're able to
Sure,
limit one per household
sure,
if you're controlling the sale
sure.
from your POS. Like if
Listen, I'm pretty sure they'll still do like a midnight launch at like GameStop or Best Buy
not if they
and
don't
do a
get
one per
copies,
person situation. Like with the iPhone launch, it was one per person.
or so they say.
Right, but I'm saying most people like me, when I bought the Switch, I bought like 4 of them online. I sold 3 of them for like $1,000 each. And that was a shortage too, if you think about it, when it first came out. You couldn't find it a month into launch.
You're one of
And there
those.
was no coronavirus
Throw
back
your
then.
hate mail at feedback at
There was no Wuhan happening back
ndspodcast.com.
then, bro.
Feedback at ndspodcast.com. Okay, the last bit of news. This comes from Nintendo. Lego and Nintendo are partnering up, and they made probably the coolest fucking thing ever. This is not a game, as people thought, but it's a Mario Lego that has a digital face and like chest where it interacts with all of the blocks and enemies. You're like building your own. It's like Mario Maker, but in Legos. That's like the best way I could describe this thing. I'm gonna drop this link in the chat so that you guys can take a look at it if you want. But this thing looks incredible. You got the flag, you got pipes, you make your little Mario, you turn him on, he's got eyes that blink, you can put him in the thingy, he's got a timer, and you gotta do oh my god, look at this kid stomping on a Goomba. This is crazy. This is so cool.
You know what really upsets me is that why are we getting this from Mario and freaking Pokemon has the mega constructs or mega blocks, cheap ass stuff, bricks.
Uh-huh.
Like this could have been so much cool with Pokemon.
Oh,
But I
they
like
they
how
defeat Bowser and stuff and they stomp on his
sure,
ass and get
it looks
coins.
awesome. I want to see. I hope that we eventually get to other franchises like Zelda and even Pokemon for this, because Lego is a perfect home. Because kids buy Lego.
Well, that
I
shit's
buy
expensive. I
Lego.
wonder how much this is gonna be. What do you guys think? Is there a price on this thing?
We just bought the Batmobile from the Michael Keaton movie.
Yeah.
It was like a 3,000 piece. or more than that.
Got to be more
It
than
was a
that.
huge box set. It took hours to build, 2 days. Amazing.
Yeah.
So this is all the news, right? We're done.
Yes, but I do want to say that in our chat, Joseph Develops, who followed us, thank you so much for the follow.
Hey, Joseph.
He has been emailing us about his game called Familia. So he came into our chat to tell us that he's been emailing us about Familia.
Whoa, Joe.
I
Let's
will
see
say
this.
this: I've been inundated with PAX East stuff, so I do apologize. But I did see it. I did see that email. But we will get back to you.
Oh
Don't you worry.
yes.
Familia looks
Thank you,
sick.
Joe.
Looks awesome.
So I
Go
want to
ahead.
say one more thing. There's
Before
one
we
more
get
bit
into the
of
hype
news.
zone.
No, we're not.
I said before
We're
we get
not.
into the hype zone.
But we're not though.
We're
We're
not.
still on this topic. We're still on the news.
Okay.
Because you
Yes,
forgot
I
there is
said
a glaring.
before we get into the hype zone, continue what you're saying. What do you got? Corn cobs in your ears, son?
There's a glaring omission,
So
and
fucking
I'm
add it.
shocked. I'm shocked to my core that you forgot it.
I didn't forget shit.
All right, Horizon Zero Dawn coming to PC. How'd
Nobody
you
gives a
forget that?
shit about that.
How did you fucking forget that?
Nobody cares.
Huge news.
Not one
So
person cares.
Lego and Microsoft saying we're doing a thing at E3 is huge news, but this isn't huge news to you.
Well, all
An
right.
exclusive first-party Sony game coming to PC is not a big deal.
3 years later, no.
To you.
However, I will say that the thing that is big news about this is the crybaby whiner babies that are losing their fucking mind over it. Did you see?
What? It is the dumbest thing.
Did you see that tweet of the kid that destroyed, or grown man? I don't know. I'm assuming a grown man destroyed his
So I really think
monitor and
that's all for show, dude. I don't buy that for a minute. That's
people
all
are
theatrics.
dumb. Like people's brains are stupid.
A, they're kids, and B, that's all theatrical.
You can't find toilet paper because of stupid people.
You know what? On that note, when I think about going to the shops and buying stuff to stock up on for in the time of need, like okay, I got to eat, buy non-perishables, canned
I'm just
foods,
gonna wash
freeze
my
some
ass in
meats
the
for the
shower.
year. My mind doesn't go to how am I gonna wipe my ass?
No. Water
I
bottle.
don't understand.
Put a little squirt
They're
bottle on
acting
there.
like it's the new currency.
Just get in there with a little bubbly, a little bit of soap and
No, you
water.
take a shit, you take a shower.
Well, if you're at work, you can't take a shower at work. Or, well, I guess you're not going to work, but you know what I mean. If you're
Exactly.
Listen, I can't shower every time I take a shit. I shit like 4
I
times a day.
can.
I can't.
Yes.
I have children. They need to be watched. I can't just go taking
Yeah, you and
showers.
your wife take shifts.
I can't just
You
go.
take shit shifts.
I can't just go walking around with dingleberries hanging out of
You
my.
take shifts.
I can take a shit in the shower, which
Buy a
apparently like
bucket.
12% of people do
Buy a
on this
little
earth.
bucket. Throw some water in your ass on the toilet seat.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I just got a little squirt bottle with a little soapy warm water.
Sure.
Done.
Or get a rag. Just get a rag.
I have baby wipes. I have baby wipes coming.
Sure.
I have
But,
leftover.
nice,
Both my kids are
hand
basically
towel.
potty trained at this point. I got baby wipes left
Oh,
over.
you know, wear
for
some
days.
diapers.
For
Because
days, I got
still
baby
around,
wipes.
right?
I got baby wipes coming out of everywhere. They're everywhere.
It's just the human mind is a fascinating thing of the levels of the stupidity, and it's just one. You think that
That's what
we
I'm
were
saying.
at the lowest low,
Oh no.
and then we have people buying toilet paper by the thousands because that's
As
what
soon as
matters.
electricity dies, like when electricity stops happening, that is when you will see the true stupidity of humans. We are gonna go bananas. Speaking
Right,
of bananas, can we get into the hype zone, please?
So we're not talking about Horizon.
We did. We spoke about it. Who cares? I mean, great. Come to PC. Wonderful. It's
Are we gonna pick a winner and loser?
I think after the hype zone. I think we.
Is that how we go?
Most of the time because we forget.
I think none of the time.
we spoke about this, I think, last week, the whole Horizon thing, because I remember having a conversation about how it's basically just a commercial for Horizon 2. But it's fine. I mean, great. I hope more people get to play it. It's a great game.
No, again, it's a great marketing choice by Sony. They will likely publish their game. They're gonna publish it on PC.
That's still not confirmed, though, I don't think.
Sure, which I really don't think. Who else is gonna give it to? Hey, random third-party company, publish our game for us and make the money yourselves. Do you see that happening? That's dumber than buying toilet paper at this point.
I don't know. Maybe Epic Games gives them a ton of money and make it exclusive to Epic Games.
Well, that's paying for the rights to it on your platform,
That's what I'm
not to
saying.
own the publishing rights of it.
What's the
That's here's
difference?
money to put it on our thing and don't put it on Steam. That's two different conversations.
Don't matter.
But yes, let's go to the hype zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Hype Zone is your Dreams report. PS4 Dreams, which did not crack the top 20, Andy. That's another bit of news. Did not crack the top 20 of games sold. However, that does not include the early access buyers, the people who bought it early. So,
Which includes me.
right, right. Oh wait, we did have that in our news here, Buzz. I don't know how we skipped it. That was definitely in here. I don't know where
You
that went.
skipped one more thing too.
Epic
Now that I
bought the
realized
animation engine that Hellblade and God of
you
War was
skipped
made
that.
on.
Yes.
But I that was in here somewhere. I don't know where that went. But that's okay. That was in our news that didn't make the news. But yes, Dreams. Somebody made a Seinfeld terrifying horror game called Seinfeld the Horror Game. For those of you who are brave enough to see this absolutely terrifying thing, they recreated the set, the apartment, Seinfeld's apartment, beautifully. Like perfect. And then it has, I'm going to play it here. I'm going to have the sound so that.
Are you there? It's me, Jonathan, your nephew.
It's got Mr. Marbles.
You're
And if
Donathan.
you're a Seinfeld fan, that's all you need to know about this game.
There's
To know what real terror
You
is,
must make a lot of money if
look
you can
no
afford this
farther
kind
than
of
Mr. Marbles.
stuff over at Kramer's.
so you are Donathan D. Donathan,
That's a great name, by the way.
the nephew of
Of Jerry Seinfeld.
Seinfeld. Yeah. You explore the apartment, and you're getting murdered by a haunted Mr. Marbles. There was an update.
There's a scene in that
3-1.
trailer I saw when you're walking towards Monks,
Oh god, this is the
and it
restaurant.
has the Shining theme playing in the background.
Yes, I'm watching that now. Oh, this is scary. I don't like
But
this
Steven,
at all.
I wanna see your hype zone and raise you.
Okay, what do you got?
This is hypier than that even.
Oh, more hypier?
That Disneyland is now an Xbox exclusive.
What?
So for those who don't know, or you will know now because you said it before, that they're closing up shop Disneyland due to Corona. And now the only way to visit, air quotes by the way, will be on Xbox. Yes.
Like,
We're happy
like
to announce that Walt Disney Company has joined the initiative.
okay.
Just to file things under who gives a fuck is this bit of news.
I mean, okay, whatever. It is what it is.
Right.
Let's get into the mailbag.
Woo!
It's the mailbag time. This comes from Mikey Kirsch via Discord. It was revealed this week that Naughty Dog's Neil Druckmann is working alongside Sony and HBO to create a series based on The Last of Us. What's a game from each console family that you'd like to see an HBO series on? For example, for Sony, I think it'd be cool for God of War. For Nintendo, I'd like to see Metroid. And for Microsoft, I think an animated Ori show would be awesome. Love you guys. Thanks for reading my question. I think I would like for Sony to produce a Bloodborne show on HBO, like a true horror, just awesome action horror show. What about you for Sony?
That's a great choice. I love that game. I love that world. Just the whole like Lovecraft backdrop on that. But Sony, it's a tough one because I think like God of War is like too much of an obvious route to take.
I think the
There's a lot to
Horizon
do.
world would be great too.
It is.
There's
I
a lot
feel
to
like
dive in there.
you know what? I would say God of War then.
Mhm.
Maybe explore the years between God of War 3 and God of War
I
on
feel like
PS4.
he's such a hard character that like I feel like it would be very hard to make him realistic in a TV show.
You have to have the most spot on casting for that.
Yeah.
You would.
For Nintendo. I'm gonna surprise you with this one.
Oh, go on. Animal
F-Zero.
Crossing. Oh God, really?
I think a really cool race of the week style, high octane,
Hmm.
super like almost like the Speed Racer movie, which was awesome. Um,
That was critically panned though, that movie.
watch that movie now. It is fucking awesome.
Oh, it holds up well? It holds up
It's
better, is what
so
you're
good,
saying?
dude. It's so good. The effects in that
Well,
movie.
the lead is kind of hot. Is that Emil Hirsch who plays the lead
I
character
don't
in that
fucking
movie?
know people's names.
Um, for Nintendo, I would pick. I think I'll surprise you too. I'm gonna go Star Fox.
That was gonna be my obvious. Like I was thinking Star
Yeah,
Fox because that's a really cool universe.
I feel that would be like if you do like a Star Trek kind of scenario, like them going like to different planets and mission to mission, with
Yeah.
the end goal in mind of doing something. But just like a creature of the week kind of scenario, they're going around the galaxy and doing different things.
Blah 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 blah
I think it'd play well.
blah. Blah, blah,
To a
blah,
barrel.
blah, blah. Buzz Killington says he would do Luigi's Mansion for Nintendo, where Luigi buys and flips mansions.
But that's not the game.
For Microsoft, I would do. Geez, there's so many options.
I know. There's Halo, and then there's Halo, and then there's also Halo,
There's Gears of War. Don't forget that.
and then Halo. I
No,
would
you
do
know what I would
Forza.
do? You know what
I
I
would
would
do
choose?
Forza.
You know what I would choose? Too Human.
Oh God, why would you pick a bad game?
Cool universe. Don't care about gameplay. You don't need gameplay
No,
for HBO
no.
series.
Oh
Too
God, Too
Human. You're all these
Human.
cool godlike creatures. It's Norse mythology, but
No,
like
no
new
one cares about that. There's not enough
sci-fi.
cachet. There's no cachet to Too Human.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. It's a shitty
Yeah, but
game.
no one's gonna give a shit.
Crackdown would be cool, as Buzz says in the chat. Crackdown would be a cool
Oh,
game.
Crackdown.
That'd
Fuck
be a
that
cool
shit.
show,
No.
man. They're super cop dudes. That's pretty
No,
cool.
I really love Kirsch's idea of Ori. Because I don't want to. I would rather not go the action route. It's too much of that for Microsoft. Let's move away from that. Your indies are great. Do Ori, do Cuphead, something along those lines would be nice and would be really nice and cute for the kiddies.
Peter S. via Discord says, since Mario Day was this week, or last week, what is your favorite game with Mario in it?
Ooh,
That's right, I said Mario, so fucking fight me.
it's a Mario.
Wahoo, here we go. Huh.
Oh, there's only one answer for this game.
Mike Tyson's Punch Out?
Yes.
Meh. Meh.
Excite Bike.
Meh. 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 Yeah, I think I'm probably I think Punch Out might be my favorite, like where he's not like the character you play or a character you play.
Mhm.
I think Punch Out's a really good answer for
I'm
that.
gonna go with one of the most unconventional Mario games, and that's Mario RPG
It's a good game.
and the Seven Stars, or Legend of the Seven Stars. Yeah, it's
Seven
just it gave us,
seven doors and stars and doors.
it gave us some great characters, some great soundtracks.
Yes.
That battle theme I can hear it to the end of time. It's just so juicy and
Yes.
so delectable.
Um
That and Mario Brothers 3. Those are my favorite Mario games of all time. Oh, I love this next question, by the way.
Yes,
Hit
Buzz
it.
via Discord. What do you plan on doing with your coronavirus off time? I'm still working. I work from home, so I will be working. However, I will be playing and beating games when I am done working. Andy?
So, if you noticed, I am on this brown armchair, this lazy boy right now in my office,
With your phone
and
directly in front of
I've
your
been
camera,
doing
yes?
some redecorating in this space because I
Interesting.
feel like this office space sometimes it gets. I only come here to record, which is a shame because it's a beautiful space. And I want it to be more functional and more of like a hangout for me during the day.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
wanna
3 years
put a-
later, you would think that you would want it to be useful as a podcasting recording spot.
You would think. So I have a projector I'm going to hang on the wall, and I have a nice, beautiful white wall here to project on.
Oh, okay.
But I'm like in the midst of moving things around. I actually have my microphone attached to a cheese board, a cheese plate.
Very good. Very
It's
good.
hanging off the edge of the couch here. to my immediate right. Holding up well. I've been doing that, food shopping, got a haircut today. But in terms of what I'm doing for the foreseeable future, again, my job revolves around its events and food services. And if that doesn't happen, I don't really have much to do. I'll be doing conference calls for work once a day, maybe twice. But aside from that, I'm going to attack the backlog
Attack it
as
hard.
hard as I can.
Fist it. Double fist it if you can.
Mhm.
Get in there.
Just right up its ass.
Maltese via
Sent us a
Discord
link.
sent
Oh,
us a
that's not a
link.
question.
This is interesting. So he sent
there-
us something here.
Does the title have a question, or is it just like this question mark? Is that what he's saying?
Yes. Japanese students hold graduation ceremony in Minecraft amid school cancellation.
What's the question? Is it why?
As usual, kids are way ahead of adults. Japanese schools have been closed for over 2 weeks now due to coronavirus quarantine, and they will remain closed until after spring vacation. But the Japanese school year ends in March and begins in April. Wow! That sucks for you guys. For many students, this closing period means that they will miss their graduation ceremonies. Whether they're leaving elementary school, middle school, or high school, it's a sad feeling for them to go out with a whimper instead of a bang. But some creative elementary school graduates in Japan came up with a great workaround. If they couldn't have a graduation ceremony at school, then why not have one digitally in a place they all meet often anyway, in Minecraft. They built a graduation hall in Minecraft. Oh, they're so adorable, loving their whole graduation. That's cute.
Some really funny comments here on Reddit. The first one says, "It's all fun and games until someone pulls out a lava bucket." And the
Sure.
next one says, "Is this going to be the 2020 reboot of Carrie?"
That's it.
And lays down TNT everywhere. Maltese, great question. I love it.
Well,
Amazing.
his question was hype zone.
Yeah.
That's hype zone worthy.
It's a definite contender.
That's for sure hype zone worthy.
A definite contender.
All right. Well, that does it for the hype zone. We're out of the hype zone. It's gone. We did it.
Winners and losers?
Winners and losers. Who is your big winner? I'm going with Sony. They were in the news like crazy this week, and almost none of it was negative except for the Naughty Dog thing. But even that was just, all right, get over it.
Right, and even that's like, to me, again, I'm kind of with you. It's just, yes, we can sort of have a discussion about crunch and overworking your developers to the point of insanity. But I feel like there's an expectation that goes along with signing up for a game of this scope and magnitude, and you gotta be ready. And Naughty Dog is like the top of their game. They're leading in the industry, and to hear them when they talk about the animation for Part Two, how it's blown away all their expectations. Work goes into that, a lot of work.
Right.
So again, we can have the conversation at some point, and we can start to limit those hours and start mandating, guys, let's not put in like more than 80 hours a week if we don't have to. That's one thing you can do. But I think I'm kind of with you on this because I don't really give rumors that much credence because they can come out of someone's ass at any time of the day, it seems like, on the internet. But this one, there's so much that's happened before it that it's aligning in so many ways. And it makes sense that Sony would be the one because PT was a huge hit on the PS4, and Sony likely saw that. And also, I had a Twitter fight the other day.
Ooh.
Yeah, about this news, which I forgot to mention earlier. So someone said to me how they were mad that these games may only be on PS5. And that they wouldn't buy them. And it was anti-consumer of them to do this. And I just sat there like it was a facepalm moment because anti-consumer would be to purchase the IP and just sit on it. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he also said that Silent Hill was a public, quote unquote, a public series.
So yeah, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, if it's on other platforms, I mean it belongs to the public. It goes to everybody. So I was like, oh, so you really must hate Nintendo then, because they hoard Mario and Zelda. And they're like, oh, they own those. Oh, did they own Resident Evil back in the day? It's how the machine works. This is why we stressed greatly a while back. Sony, when they were going to have games that were only going to be on PS5, you need to incentivize people to buy your
Otherwise,
new
don't make
hardware.
a system.
And
Just
also,
make games.
this is Sony looking out for their audience. They know what they want.
They're consumers.
This was a franchise that was born on PlayStation. It had the most sales on PlayStation. PT was only on PS4. And let's face it, if anyone is going to give the rights up to any company, it's going to be a Japanese company. It's just how it's going to be. I don't see Konami doling out anything to Microsoft. It's not going to sell if it's only on Microsoft. It is how it has to be. So I don't get this idea of it being anti-consumer. It's like the dumbest argument I've ever heard in my entire life. And if Sony is going to put up the money to make this happen, you should be on your knees,
Because otherwise it wouldn't happen.
gagging on that D
Right.
in gratitude. Because if that's how we're going to play it,
Right.
then yeah, it belongs on their system.
Otherwise it wouldn't happen.
Exactly.
Maltese has a question about the crunch thing. He says, Steve, what do film crews do during crunch? Aren't there unions? So film, like the actual film crew, they go by different rules. They typically can work later, they get there earlier, they leave later, stuff like that, but they're heavily compensated for it. Actors, technically, if you go over 8 hours, you get time and a half. Anything over 10 hours, you get double time. You can't work more than 14 hours if you have to get sent home. Otherwise, they can get like the union will go there and like shut you down or whatever. You can just do it and not tell anybody and just get your check and wave, but it's frowned upon by the unions. I've done film. I've done filming days that were 12 hours every day, 7 to 7. But you also have to get like mandatory breaks and stuff like that. I think unions would definitely help with game crunch because it will set a expectation for the employees saying, hey, people that are hired, that are making this game and setting the goal for the release date and the scope of the game. Remember, we're human beings. We have rights. We're going to, we can't work more than 10 hours a day. We can't work more than 60 hours a week with period. And anything over 40, you have to pay us double or time and a half or whatever. I'm sure they get overtime. I think that's all state by state. I think they have, that's like federal law or state law or something like that. There is overtime unless you're a manager, in which case you're just a salaried employee. But yeah, I don't know. I think even in my business there was a superintendent that was salaried that was working at the World Trade Center before they opened up the Oculus, and they were working in some cases 80 hours a week to try and get that Oculus opened on time. And he was salaried, and he just wrote to our boss and said, listen, if I'm going to do this, I can make more money as a laborer by hour than I am right now as a salaried employee. And so, as he said, anything over 40 hours, I would like to be compensated overtime. So they said, okay, no problem. They just prorate his hourly, they whatever, and they give it to him like that. So I think unions will be able to help them negotiate a little bit more, which would be nice.
And the biggest loser is E3.
The biggest loser, I don't even want to say E3. I want to say the biggest loser is gamers. Because E3 is a festival of happiness. It's something we all love, and
We're still going to get things.
we're still going to get things, but
people,
it's different, and you know it.
I
You know it's
understand it's
different.
different, but for most gamers, for most people they're going to be home watching streams. So if they still get that content and the announcements in June, not a huge loss. I mean, the journalists are out there clickbait and their articles for a good solid week. That's going to go away. But I think E3 itself it's a huge blow to them.
Yep.
And I think it signals like the beginning of the end. Well, that was a while ago. This is more of like the final nail in the coffin. Again, you take a year off, be lucky that this happened because there was already bad press with Sony pulling out, Jeff Keighley pulling out.
They could take
And
this time to revamp it.
yes,
They could
just kind of
say,
like,
"Oh, thank God!" Like this is like
just
maybe they
save
released
yourself.
COVID.
Yeah, just say, yeah, right. Just say that's a huge fucking tinfoil hat, dude. Just say to yourself, I could wrap like 20 pigs in that aluminum foil. Just say to yourself, like, why did Sony pull out? Like, what did we do?
What did we
Why
fuck
did we,
up?
why did Jeff Keighley want to leave? Like, he's been a stalwart of E3 for years. Like, how can we make them want to come back to us? Did we charge too much? Was our policies not aligning with them?
Should we not be
Like,
corporate shills?
exactly. Should we just kowtowing to advertisers? All right. And that'll do it.
All right, Retro Game Club. Last month, ladies and gentlemen, nobody wrote into us with their thoughts on Dark Alliance and Silent Bomber War, so it is what it is. I'm okay with it. It's fine. Andy, what do you got for me? What do you want me to play this month?
Ooh, I think it's time. I'm still going PS1 though. There's so
Okay.
many great games on the console. I want you to play, if you already have it, Brave Fencer Musashi.
Ooh, I don't think I played that.
That was a game that I believe was bundled as a demo with FF7 back in the day.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Super cute ninja game, and I feel like it should have gotten more love. It's just the PS1 had so many great games. A lot of them were lost in the shuffle, like sales-wise.
Mm-hmm.
But that was, again, it's vintage Squaresoft. That's such a great title, and you should play it. I think you'd really, really like it. Really fun gameplay, too. Just check it out. And what you got for me?
I believe it was Game Boy Advance game.
Ooh, I love it.
Now I've been talking a lot about Dragon Ball Z lately,
Oh, no.
and this, in my opinion, is one of the best Dragon Ball Z games ever made. There were two of them, but I'm going to give you the one, and that's Dragon Ball Z: The Legacy of Goku. It's a sprite pixel art action RPG. I put a trailer, or anybody that wants to watch any of this, it's not a trailer, it's like a gameplay video. These games were a lot of fun, and it retells the story of Dragon Ball Z. And it's a lot of fun.
Okay.
And it's a good introduction to the story and it's a fun gameplay. It's very simple. It's just button mashing action stuff.
Alrighty.
But it's a lot of fun. Kind of looks like Pokemon a little bit.
Okay.
But that's what I'm giving you. So I'm gonna type this into the thingy.
All right. I am getting several phone calls from home, so we should wrap up.
Wow.
Things are happening in my life.
I hope everything's okay.
Yeah, I have no idea what's happening.
And you can spell that game in the doc for me, because I'm not even going to attempt spelling it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for the Dual Screens Gamescast. We love you very much. If you want to follow us on social media, you can do so. We are at NDS Podcast. I am at Batchild27, and Andy is at Pants Guy. And you can join our Facebook group at facebook.com/group/Dual Screens Podcasts. You could follow us on YouTube, give us a subscription at youtube.com/Dual Screens TV, or you can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/Dual Screens Streams. Special thanks to Zazu Pitts of Sourdough Productions. Thank you, Matt Murray. Thank you, Andrew Douglas. Once again, if you want to be a part of this show, you could do so in two ways. You could email us your questions, comments, and concerns at feedback@ndspodcast.com, or you could support us on Patreon at patreon.com/ndspodcast and join our Discord, and you could ask any questions you want in our mailbag. If you want to buy some items, go to dualscreens.com/store. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Andy, is there anything you want to tell the kids before we go? Who do we have for this coming week's Dual Screens podcast?
Oh, dude, we have Bacon Switch, and I'm so excited about that one. You have no idea.
Very excited. Bacon Switch is a great game. There's an article on dualscreens.com. Check it out.
You can.
All of our preview on that game.
Need that shit.
I will be back on sometime this week streaming as well, so please keep it locked here on twitch.tv/dualscreenstreams. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, chat. Thank you, listeners. We love you. And as always, please be excellent to each other.